Greetings, my friends. Hope you are doing well. Dr. Faisal Sami here, board certified radiologist and CEO of Chicago Telerad, and I want to welcome you to this video on how to start your own teleradiology practice. And I want to dedicate this video course to all the interesting radiologists and teleradiologists that I've met over the years. There's so many interesting and good people I've met on the teleradiology path that I dedicate this work to you, the teleradiologist. It is my hope that one day you take action to move from whatever level of practice you're at right now and income and grow at your own pace in your own way. And perhaps some of the pearls and anecdotes and experiences that I've had I can share with you, and they can be of some value to you as well. So who is this guy, Faisal Sami? So for starters, I graduated from St. George's University School of Medicine in 1997, did my internship at St. Joseph Mercy in Pontiac, Michigan, 97 to 98, diagnostic radiology residency at the University of Illinois Michael Reese Hospital from 1998 to 2002, fellowship in musculoskeletal imaging from Northwestern University from 2002 to 2003, and I've engaged in various permutations of hospital and teleradiology practice from 2003 to the present. I'm an avid squash player. I play racquetball, and lately I've been playing a lot of badminton. These days more badminton than anything else. My favorite food is an Indian dish called biryani, and if you're in the Chicagoland area, I am game for a mean plate of biryani anytime. I've been an avid real estate investor, owning a portfolio of more than 27 income-producing properties that I enjoyed putting together over the years. I started that in 2008 and then sold the whole portfolio to an investor for a very nice profit in 2015. I've flipped houses, made some great money doing that. I've owned Section 8 properties, have real estate success and horror stories to share as well, in case you are interested in real estate investing. I love to travel, have been to many countries on many continents, and my favorite destination is Dubai. So there you have it. That's the real me. But enough about me. Let's spend the rest of this video course on you and how perhaps you can add a teleradiology stream of income to your practice. So when I first got involved in the teleradiology space, I was a fellow at Evanston Northwestern Hospital in 2002. Back then, we took ER call from our laptops for the hospitals. There were 2 other hospitals in the network, and it was a really nice setup. During my fellowship year, I got involved with a small hospital in rural Indiana on the western side of the state. That hospital offered me my first teleradiology contract, and it was back in 2002, 2003. That was the time when the market was really good for radiologists. And I think now what we're seeing in 2017 at the end here, the market's really coming back for radiologists and teleradiologists now. But back then, it allowed me to boost my fellowship income beyond my wildest dreams. And I was making somewhere, between 40, 50,000 at Northwestern as a fellow, and I was able to make a multiple 6-figure income in the span of just 6 months' time. And it just changed my world at that point in time. I had 2 kids. My second one was just born during my fellowship year. And after several months of getting used to the new income, I was totally hooked. So I stayed employed as a hospital radiologist during my first 3 years of practice with the option to do independent teleradiology on the side. I made that a carve-out in the hospital employee contract. And it was that experience of having the ability to create an income on demand that changed my perspective on medical practice. With all the things that are going on right now in healthcare, I think it's very important for physicians in general to keep an eye on the revenue stream, make sure we're able to provide quality care, but have a strong, solid income to support our practices. It wasn't common or prevalent at that time actually to be doing teleradiology. So when I told people what I was doing, that I was reading for a hospital in Indiana off my laptop, it was kind of interesting conversation when I'd share that with the fellows and residents. But it was an avenue of discussion and of contemplating the future at that time. And we didn't know all the changes that were in store, but there were a lot of changes coming. So many radiologists I knew at the time wanted to be involved in some way in this mysterious new way of practice. The year was 2006, and I made the decision to finish my stable, secure hospital employee position and jump in headfirst into the world of teleradiology. So from 2003 to 2006, I was a hospital employee and made great income and pretty par for the course, normal hospital employed position. We decided to move back to Chicagoland, and I secured another hospital employed position in the Chicagoland area, this time working from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. from home, purely teleradiology. And it was for one hospital, and I covered the ER and cleaned up all the other cases that were left during the day. So the situation worked out great, and I was home with the family, with my kids. I had a stable job, and all was well. But I was still an employee, which was kind of nice at the time, but since the job came with benefits like health insurance, retirement contributions, and regular pay. But the pay was low. But I was at home, so it was okay. But after 12 months of that, I knew I could do better by striking out on my own. Enter the world of big box teleradiology. So at the time, the big company on the block in 2006, 2007 was one that had operations overseas as well. It was a good company with good people, and life was good. I enjoyed working for that company, worked many hours, did lots of extra shifts, as may have some of you. You may have been part of that original company. Then came the buyout and change, some good, some not so good, but overall still positive. And I worked in big box teleradiology for years. It was all good. I learned a tremendous amount of emergency and trauma teleradiology. There were good times and there were not so good times, but overall it came out a stronger radiologist for it. At the same time, I kept up my hospital procedural skills. I kept them up to date, doing light interventional and maintaining my MQSA and mammo skills. And I'm really glad I did that because now telemammography is, I think, becoming a new thing. It's becoming more part of teleradiology practice. In fact, I do some telemammography right now, so I'm really glad I kept up with all that, and I enjoy doing mammography. So I'd encourage all you teleradiologists out there to keep up your skills, being able to do arthrograms, thoracentesis, paracentesis, biopsies, all that stuff is really good. So do a few weeks a year stints in the hospital. It will serve you well. So after years of doing big box teleradiology, I still knew there had to be a better way. So enter independent teleradiology. So what is independent teleradiology? Well, it's just a made-up term. I made it up. It's just, and I may not have been the first to say that, but I would propose it's the idea that you can practice anywhere you want, when you want, without being beholden to any one company, entity, or practice. Essentially having a diversified portfolio of teleradiology contracts. Having said that, there's nothing wrong with a teleradiology job. In fact, I would encourage all of you to work for a big box teleradiology company for several years to really get to know the business of teleradiology and gain the experience of clinical judgment and decision making. So, rewind a little bit. During the early days when I was still a fellow, my first contract in teleradiology in 2003, now get this, paid me $250 per MRI and $150 per CT. So that was $250 to do a knee, a shoulder, a spine, and then $150 per CT. So that was counted per body part. And I had abdomen, pelvis would pay me $300. That was 2003, and that was with one hospital. They desperately needed my service. I desperately needed the income, and it was a really good match. Now, many radiologists fall out of their chairs when they hear those rates, but I have the contracts to prove it. It happened. It was the early days. Then hospitals got wiser. New players entered the game. Practices became companies, and companies brought in private equity. This drove competition, and rates started nosediving down. While the early sky-high rates days are long gone, it's still possible to make a great income as a teleradiologist. My hope with this free video series is to perhaps stimulate some ideas for thought, perhaps challenge some long-held beliefs, and maybe open up some avenues of practice for radiologists who want to practice teleradiology. I have nothing against hospital-based radiology practice. I do stints myself in the hospital to keep up my procedural skills and MQSA, but my heart is in teleradiology, quality patient care, and lifestyle design. I would like to invite you to register for my free video course on how to start your own teleradiology practice. Please go ahead and register below with your name and email address. I will be sending you a series of videos that can also be listened to as audios during drive time when you're going to the hospital or at any other times you want to just listen and learn about teleradiology. The intended audience is global, worldwide, radiologists, teleradiologists, and anyone interested in learning more about teleradiology. It does not matter what country you live in. The principles and experiences you'll hear about can be of value to you no matter what country you live in. I'm especially interested in hearing about the experiences of teleradiologists from other countries, not just the USA. It's so easy to get focused on a US-centric model of everything. We live in a global economy and global healthcare environment. Teleradiology, being the grandfather of telemedicine, is on the forefront of cutting-edge medicine. I've seen some amazing things come out of India, the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. The opportunities out there are literally countless. I welcome the interaction of our international colleagues and teleradiologists from around the globe. So please go ahead and register below for my free audio video course, and I look forward to seeing you on the videos and audios soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.